Hey kiddos, here we are, lesson 34-4. We are going to wrap up today our last little tiny mini lesson on the second step of the writing process, and that is actually writing our response to a prompt. With that, ladies and gentlemen, you should have gone through a couple of drafts of your response already that you have created. You have revised it. You edited your response. And at this point, you're looking at a response and you think, this is looking pretty good. Well, we're going to find out that we need to do one more thing before we go to that final copy. And with that, we are going to discuss proofreading today. Proofreading is simply the ability to effectively critique something that is written. Have you ever read a billboard or something that maybe even your teacher wrote and you see an error in it? And you might look at a friend and say, hey, look, she messed this up. Well, you're a proofreader. Proofreaders also make money as a career. Those who do it very well. Proofreading, ladies and gentlemen, is the ability to just look at something and say, this is right and this is wrong in the form of writing, and suggest ways to correct it. So one thing that you need to be very aware of today is that to better ourselves, one of the greatest lessons we can learn in life is to ask someone else for their input. We need someone else to tell us what we're doing wrong or how we could do things a little better. And that is 100% what we're talking about when we discuss proofreading. Proofreading is best completed by someone who did not write whatever is being proofread. Okay, there's no personal attachment to the written document. Somebody can just look at it and see the words and determine if the words make sense, if everything is as it should be, or if there are errors. So, proofreading, ladies and gentlemen, equals asking for another party to come in and give you some feedback to make your writing be the very, very best your writing can be. So we often don't see our own mistakes, and we do grow by learning from objective observers and critics. So the act of proofreading includes someone else or a computer-based program completing a detailed analysis and assessment of our writing. Well, what exactly does proofreading look like? Well, you're going to give someone your draft. You're going to expose it to someone. Most of you have Grammarly on your computers. And with Grammarly, it will do the same thing. It will oversee what you're writing and give you suggestions when there are errors. What I want you guys to do today is to watch the video link to understand the basic proofreading marks. I am not going to take your time right now, but you will use the little red arrow. You will click anywhere on this picture, and it will launch a YouTube video that helps you see how to use proofreading marks and how to recognize what you should do when someone proofreads your paper and makes those marks. What you need to do is ask a friend, ask your teacher, or find a program to proofread your response. After your paper is proofread, you will be ready to move to the last step of the writing process. Cha-ching! Your final draft. So you basically just need today to focus on proofreading your paper and preparing it and getting it ready to say, I'm going to put this in the final draft and turn it in. It's the best I've got. It is a lot of work, but putting the work into your writing makes all the difference in the world. I promise. Now, after you finish up that video today with proofreading marks, what I want you guys to do next is I want you to go into the next page. On this page, you have a Pear Deck opportunity to draw. You are going to look at the proofreading marks that you have described on the chart that is here. So 3 lines for capitalizing from the bottom left to the top right, making it lowercase. Spelling mistake, you would put an SP over the word. You would put a circle and a dot wherever someone needs to add a period. You make a little squiggly to delete something or remove it, and it's usually best to put it across the word that needs to be removed or deleted. If you need to add a word, you can draw the little high eyebrow and put the word up above it. If you need to add a comma, the high eyebrow with a comma inside. If you have words or letters that are reversed, you have a little squiggle there to say, whoop, flip these around. If you need an apostrophe, since those are up high in your writing, you're going to put a V under them so someone will know you added that. Quotation marks, you will add the V with the quotes. The pound sign in this sense, in the proofreading sense, means make a space. And then the little frown and happy face, as we call it, it tells us that we need to close up a space if we put too much space between something. Beginning a new paragraph. You will always begin a new paragraph, and we'll talk about this in our final draft, by indenting 5 spaces and making sure that there is space from the last paragraph from above. So those are a handful of proofreading marks, but those are the valuable ones that will help you move forward. You guys are going to look at this slide today. The passage says, the first year Mrs. Miller tried to open the pool by herself. It was a disaster. It had been green with algae by September, and she had just covered it up instead of fixing it. By May, there was a ton of water on top of the pool cover, so much that it had torn from the weight and a lot of debris had fallen into the pool, but that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the tadpoles. The pool was full of tadpoles. Mrs. Miller got the cover off and bought a robot pool vacuum and put it to work. It took weeks. Very hard work. She topped off the water, had a new filter installed, and after a visit from the pool people to adjust the chemical levels, it was looking pretty good. It has never been that much trouble to open the pool again. Wow, I'm not really certain that this draft made it through the editing process, but let's just say your friend hands you this paper. What you guys are going to do is use the Google Draw today to create those marks, and you need to find 10 errors. What I want you to do is go through, find the 10 errors, and mark them on this passage, so you're letting me know that you understand what proofreading marks are, how to use them, and what they mean. Alrighty, so after you finish that up today, what I am going to be looking for is I am going to look for in this Pear Deck your draft that was proofread. I want you to add, your response is going to be writing your draft response that has been proofread. You should be very close to this being a perfect response. So after you complete your proofreading activity, you're going to go through this and look very quickly. Did you brainstorm and write your first draft? Did you revise your first draft and connect all of your ideas? Did you edit your draft? Did you complete your draft? Does it go from the beginning to the end? Was your rough draft proofread by a peer, a teacher, or a computer program like Grammarly? And then is your rough draft ready to be written in final copy and presented to your teacher. And your teacher will be reading it. When you have done all of that, go ahead and throw yourself a little check inside of the check box. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You've done all you can do regarding proofreading today. Remember, whenever you are in the writing process and you feel that you're close to being finished, the most important thing you can do is invite a critic. That critic will come in and look at your work and let you know what you can do to make your work shine. Just as the pilgrim invited someone to come and look at his work. And as you see in the picture, she added some light and some plants and made the log cabin shine. Just as your teacher will help your paper and your response shine. Do this and make your response strong. Happy writing, and make it the best you can to show your best self. Until the next lesson, take care and see you later.